Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 4th grade concept of comparing fractions. This is standard 4.3D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 23 off the 2017 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and then we will look at our answers together. So we have models that are shown to represent two fractions, and we just need to find the statement that correctly compares these two fractions. And let's just verify that they have given us the correct fraction. Sometimes they'll actually mislabel them to see if we're paying attention. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shaded out of just one more makes 6, so that's good. This one is kind of a pinwheel effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so they did give us the correct fractions here. And we need to see which one is larger, or perhaps they're equal. But the way that they're shaded, it's tempting to try to start coloring this in and kind of moving this around like this. But that's not really how we're supposed to do it. We're not supposed to rely on a visual representation. What we need to do is we need to find the least common denominator, and you might have heard of it as LCD. So when we're looking for the least common denominator, what we're looking for is between 6 and 12. What is the multiple that is the smallest? And so we're going to list out our 6s, we're going to list out our 12s. And as you can see, we got 6, 12, 18, 24. We don't really need to go very far, because even though we've got multiples on this list, the smallest one is actually 12. So 12 is on both lists. What we're going to do is we're going to take both of our fractions and we're going to multiply them by something to get to 12. And you're going to notice that we really don't need to do anything. We'll keep it here just for uniformity's sake here. As you can see, our 12 is already 12. So we can start with that. If we wanted to go from 12 and get it to 12, well, we would just multiply by 1. Because if you want to multiply a number by something and keep it the same, you have to multiply by 1. So if our denominator is 1, our numerator is going to be 1, because 1 over 1 is 1 whole. That's the key, is you multiply a fraction by the same numerator and denominator, which means you're just multiplying it by 1. And anything times 1 is the same thing. That's the identity property of multiplication. So 6 times 1 makes 6. So we didn't really change this, but we are going to change our 5/6. And so what we've got here is we got to think 6 times what? What is this mystery number down here makes 12? This is where knowing our facts becomes extremely important. So 6 times 2, we simply double it. So if our denominator is 2, our numerator needs to become 2, because once again, 2 halves, that just makes 1. Anything times 1 stays the same, so when I do 5 times 2 makes 10, what this is telling me is that 5/6 is an equivalent fraction of 10/12. Really, all we're doing is we're just cutting them into smaller pieces. But now I can replace this 10/12. I can put that in the place of this 5/6, and that's going to make this a lot easier. So I am going to say that this is 10/12. So I'm just going to kind of cross that out. I'm going to say this is 10/12. And really, if we wanted to visually represent that, this is what it would look like. You're just going to take each of these sixths and just cut it in half. That's all we do. To go from 6 to 12, notice I didn't change the shading, I just cut the pieces into smaller pieces. Well, now I can compare. I've got 10/12 and I've got 6/12, and it doesn't really matter that they're in different patterns. You can easily see here that my 10/12 is going to be greater than my 6/12. But remember, my 10/12 really kind of was replacing my 5/6, so we need to go back to my 5/6. So this right here, all of these 5/6 are really 10/12 down here. And so as you can see, we're looking for this greater than symbol, and we get that right up here with A. 5/6 is greater than 6/12.